Hello, my name is Jarden, and welcome to episode 6 of another Let's Play. As you can see, we did a little bit mining off camera from the last episode. I've spent about a week when I've had time to mine all of this, and it's nuts. It's the most I've ever probably done in terms of mining. I did also use a lot of TNT for this original bit, and it's nowhere near done. So the point of this episode is just to chill for like maybe 30 minutes and just talk about the future of the channel and anything that comes to mind. There is no script or planning for this, and there'll be no time lapses or cutting or anything like that. So it should be fun. But I will be going back to the traditional style in the next episode, whatever that is. I'm just going to get a few clips out of the way though. Two tragic things occurred, and then we will get onto the podcast sort of thing. Many years ago, in this very world, I shared a sheep and its wool, and occasionally I see it in the swamp here. And I think finally I have decided to save it. For some reason it has never despawned, but it's slowly progressed from all that way over there to here. It has been like this for 5 years. Well, not 5 years exactly, but probably like 4 years and a bit. This poor sheep has been stuck out here. And now I will finally save it and treasure it like an artifact. Because I have seen the sheep many times and just accepted that one day it would die. There was originally a group of them, but this one was the only one that survived the massacre of Jarden back in the days. I let this one go, and it's really cool to see. So I'm going to build the sheep a house in Mirage City. I don't have a name for the sheep, but it was the lost sheep. After 4 years, it's going to finally grow its wool back. So, let's see if it'll do it now. I need to keep an eye so I don't lose it. For now, I'll put it in the ocean house. This will probably just be a random clip in some future Let's Play that I do. I just found that when I was working on random things. Come on, sheepy. And it still didn't eat grass. Maybe I should just leave it like this. Or is that cruel? Alright, on to the next clip on whatever episode this is. This game hates me. That sheep that I just got back after 5 years. Lightning storm. I was excited. I saw a lightning storm. And then... Oh, fuck. And then I saw the lightning bolt and it hit the roof and killed that sheep. That sheep lived for 5 years. Well, not 5 years, but nearly. It just got murdered by lightning. I had just saved it. I didn't even have time to name it. Why? How is that even possible? How did the lightning go all the way through? This is BS. Rest in peace, sheepy. It never got to eat grass again. It's truly tragic. I'm trying not to laugh, but... why Minecraft? So, on to mining and just chilling in general after that truly tragic clip. Yeah, that was an interesting thing, and lightning sucks. So we're just gonna be digging and speaking, hopefully, and hopefully that skeleton will piss off. Go away. Normally I just let them attack me and eventually get them as my armor is that strong. I always play on hard difficulty, which makes it much harder. I might just turn down the sounds a bit of the actual game, and I know I said no cuts, but it would probably be better for you viewers. Okay, I'm back again, and hopefully this should be just like the single straight recording of this video. The first thing I guess I'll talk about is my YouTube channel. Jardin9107 is not my first channel or first attempt at YouTube, but it probably is the one that has went the most successfully in terms of Minecraft and speaking wise. Um, I don't really have any major hopes for the channel, but I am glad to see that some people are enjoying it, which feels actually like really good, like surprisingly so. I always thought I just hated other people, but you online people are alright, I guess. Especially like comments from like Mother Russia and all of you who you are, sorry. Um, but future plans for the channel. My style of videos is not really determined. Can be quite chaotic. I do like doing the interactions with the community that I have kind of formed on Twitter. I love getting opinions from people and interacting with it. And obviously, the World Tours has probably been my most, I don't know, successful series, but most liked. Um, I'd love to do more of those in the future, but I don't think it's going to be my main focus. That's not what I want to identify myself as, because those are other people's work, and that's just me looking at them, which is fun and is great for the actual person in the world. But I don't think I'm gonna force that series at all anymore. Well, I wasn't forcing it. There was people who were interested, and it was great. But obviously, the Let's Play, that was the first thing I released. Um, to be honest, it's probably the least popular, which is fine. But for me, it is my favorite, as it is my world, I guess. I'm not saying it. Well, my channel is relatively new, this one at least. Um, and this is not the first time this world has been on YouTube. But the Let's Play will be probably the one staple of this channel, regardless of what I do. But that's not necessarily going to mean the Let's Play will be in the same video format, as every time I do another Let's Play episode, they change slightly, either for the better or worse. The Let's Plays is mostly inspired by watching YouTube from when I was much younger, when Let's Plays were much more prevalent to YouTube these days. Especially creators I used to watch back in the day. But the only person who I would still watch consistently that has a Let's Play is Toycat, as you probably all know. It's because as he uses that as a platform to basically talk about himself and show off his world, I guess. And this is basically what that episode is, except for it's the first attempt, so who knows how it'll go. And at the moment I've been posting a few minigame things, which are really fun. They're not the most creative content, but they are the most interesting commentary, probably, as it's the least forced. I'm not saying this is forced, but it's much easier in those because you're giving reactions to things like, oh no, I'm dying, or losing. They are a bit over the top, especially if you watch the video with the Shrek face, if that's came out before this. That's probably an atrocity to humanity. Let me just get a night vision potion. Instead of lighting this, because it's impossible as I'm mining it all, I have just brewed tons of night vision potions. And it's easier for me to spot mobs and things. So for YouTube, I've basically defined them as three styles. And I've had a few, oh, I guess then there's the Twitter videos, as I call them, which have been both the Q&As, which I love doing, even though The second one I feel is a lot more. Well, the first one I've already mentioned it several times, but I was not in the best state to record something like that. So I probably shouldn't have done that then, but surprisingly, I think it is my most successful video in terms of views. If that's not what I care about as well. I just like seeing what people like, I guess, or what draws interest. Um, but that was probably one of my worst videos in terms of audio quality, because the audio was awful, and I was completely in thinking of different words to use, but I wasn't right in the head at that time. Even then, I knew that the video quality was awful, but I think it was like the first time I had tried to put effort into, well, at least some humor came freely, because I wasn't in the normal mind state, and I think I went from just being in the same monotone, especially from the original first few Let's Play episodes, where I just drone on and go on in these short clips, which I probably am doing right now. But I'm trying to be more engaging, and it's hard if you've tried talking to yourself before. It takes time, and it makes you sound like crazy, especially when you have a roommate who can hear you as you can hear him when he talks to himself. I justify it by recording videos, but yeah. Um, so YouTube for now, I don't have a defined plan. I do have future projects that I'd like to talk about now. The main one being an interesting one for me, which I've nicknamed the Staria project, which is actually something that is kind of derived from several years of playing this. And it's a weird thing. Recently we've seen in like the last year, there's a very prevalent type of content in Minecraft, which is the roleplay, which has been around for years, but I've always hated it with a passion. Is because there were quite disturbing ones out there, and that's all I saw ever recommended. Not that I was searching for this, well, not necessarily recommended, but I came across a few awful channels that did awful things with roleplay. Obviously, I'm talking about the Dream SMP, if anyone who doesn't know what that is. And normally that would not be my thing, as I do love stories and like writing and things. But the problem with it is they cheat quite prevalently. Like, I'm a very anti-cheating person. Like, anything I watch on YouTube would normally have to be like, I know the creator is not cheating, or, well, who knows sometimes, but don't make it so obvious. But it doesn't really matter for the Dream SMP, at least, as that was all focused on story. And I've kind of built up a story of my own, which is the big project. I've done literal writing, which I've shared to some of you, which some of you liked. But the big project is going to be like a massive film set in this game, basically, um, based on some of the writing that I'm doing. And it's an explanation for corrupted worlds, basically, like old worlds I used to have, like what happened to them and why canonically the character in Minecraft had to leave them or whatever. It's an interesting project as it's not what I normally do, but I used to be really big into drama, so I love acting, and I love, well, I don't love writing, but I like the creativity around it. So that's probably months away as I am procrastinating on that already, and it's not something I pressure myself into, but that's probably the biggest project I will do, that I have at least. Otherwise, it's just to keep this going and improving. Otherwise, I'd love to do more collaborations with people. There will definitely be. I know I just said before I don't want to make world tours like the main thing on my channel, but there will definitely be some from more people, I think, in the future. Also, I want to keep doing more community interaction stuff, like the questions on Twitter and things, anything along those lines, as those are really fun. And probably I think I've already said collaborations. Yeah, but that's basically it for the YouTube side for now, for what at least I want to talk about. But for Minecraft, I obviously have big projects. Well, not. Let's take a look around here. As you can see, this is massive. I have done this myself, completely by myself, and at the moment, this is step one, which is digging slash exploding all this out. I still want to dig more into here and the other side. I can't dig any more back there as it goes through the border I have for it. This is actually an extension to probably the coolest project I've done in Minecraft, which is the Cobalt Sands, which is this whole thing, which is not done. So after placing all the blue material, I was like, what could I do to improve this? And this is after I still need to do tons of trees and add more to this, finish the coastline, I guess. But I was like, you know what, I want to have a cavern with a boat in it. But I was like, alright, I'll distract myself with the cavern for like a day. Make it like a tiny little cavern using this material. It's funny that I don't know the names. But I was like, yeah, that would be cool. We could take a little cave, put a little boat in it, and then I just kept digging. And then I got more ambitious. And then I'm going to transform this all into what that looks like, basically. Then I'm going to fill it with is like a level of water, as it's going to be underwater cavern. And then I'm going to add like a massive nether boat or whatever. So that's just even more ambition for what I've already got for the cobalt sands. And then when I was mining, I found this ravine. And I was like, why not add this naturally? So I'm going to cover all this, and this will just be like a little subsection that you can swim into. At the moment, it's quite square, just by the way I've mined. I was also very stubborn at first not to use a haste 2 beacon, because I was like, nah, that'll take too much time to set up. But I did end up doing it, and thank goodness I did. Um, this project has turned out great for resources though. I've been able to get like 10 stacks of iron, which isn't that much, but it works. This is what it looks like in the dark at the moment. Obviously these aren't covered yet. That's why I'm using night vision, as it's impossible to mine like this. This first area only took me like over 2 days. Not literal 2 days, more like 2 hours to like three. Just chilling, using all of explosions. Then the rest is taken basically a week. Like every evening I'll play like an hour and like listen to podcasts or whatever, which ironically is what I'm trying to kind of create here. Not a podcast, but something you can listen to if you want to. Sorry, losing my train of thought. So the Cobalt Sands is the most unique project I've probably made. I've never seen anyone do it like this before. Sure, there's probably been big caves or whatever, but yeah. Also the resources side, stone. If anyone remembers my massive stone wall, it has given me so much stone, and I've been setting up chests filled with stone bricks and the materials I need for that. So the next episode will probably be a lot of work on the stone wall itself, and probably more on this as I'm obsessed with it. Other projects in the world, the main one probably at the moment is Mirage City and things. I just want to add so much to the world, because the problem with the world tours, it's not that I feel jealous, I just feel inspired so much and then kind of like ashamed by like my world, which I know I've done some things I should be happy with. Like I built this chicken in like 5 minutes. I got materials. I'm quite happy with it, as I didn't use a guide or anything. I was just like, how can I make a derpy chicken? And I did. This originally was going to be a llama island in spite of Jack Cuff, but it now has a chicken in love of Jack Cuffers. He loves chicken statues. Uh, yeah. So these are the walls. Um, Interestingly enough, the YouTube project actually requires me to finish the Cobalt Sands as it's a main part of the end of the story at least, which hopefully anyone watching this, if they still are there, then besides myself, will see that in the future. Farm-wise, I'm not got anything major planned. I have a really effective skeleton grinder, as I got lucky with a double spawner, and I kind of made it efficient. I've got that actually really conveniently in Mirage City. I was terraforming and I found it. That's probably one of the most random surprises, as I've lived near this area for like 4 years in real life. Not that I've played this world for like 5 years, even though it's been that long, as I've played different games or was on Java for like a year or two. This is actually like the main skeleton area. That's up there in case I want XP, but this is nuts. Those are empty, but when I did use this for the first time, it was like nuts. I'd never got this efficiency. Also, llama, get out of here. That is one of the most annoying things, the wandering trade llamas. As you can see, this is the outside of my actual like main base where I live. It is very ugly. It used to be more maintained, but I basically built my base into a ravine. You can see all the ruins from the outside. Um, yeah, so that's fun. The main base actually will have an expansion here. This is like the one corner that hasn't been used. And also, this eventually, the plan for this was to go much higher with this and do the same thing and have like a massive spire of chest rooms. But I haven't even finished this, and that's not even filled with stuff yet. But the amount of chests I have lying around at the moment will mean I have to eventually do something about it, because I have a massive pile of resources, both in the Crimson Cavern, as I'm calling it. I think that's a suitable name. And also behind, well, not behind, in the new expansion of the city. Don't know if you call this a city, they're not exactly skyscrapers, but Mirage City will eventually. A lot of these are filled with just anything. It gets to a point in the game where I'm too lazy to organize because it is boring. I do plan to sort this when I can stream again. I will stream, so that'd be good. I do love these new areas because it's not just a house. This is a replica of a caravan, if anyone recognizes this from the SMP yet again. I'm not that obsessive with it, but I did like Wilbur's content. So I built this, but I made it into like a park. And then we have some references inside with the sheep. If anyone's a fan of that, they will recognize him. Then we just have a random sheep here as well called Percy, who's just chilling. Um, I've not done replicas in the past before, especially for YouTubers. The next would probably be Toy Cat, would be the obvious one. Oh, and this is a gravestone temporarily I have here for a chicken that I had that I was building a automatic chicken farm. As you can see, I have cooked chicken as my main food source at the moment. And one chicken escaped when I was making it, so I actually didn't kill it. I named it Houdini and put it on a leash in my base. But when I was getting a lot of my cats down, I'll show you now the cats. Um, One randomly there are just cats everywhere here, as this is a village technically. Um, but oh, shoot, they basically massacred that poor chicken, and it took me a while to figure it out. But yeah, this is the cat hole at the moment. This is from like a past episode where I did like a time lapse of like building the structure of this, but I have just left this, except for like the carpet. Here we have Jack and Harrison. Then just random, I do plan to add other people, obviously. But these ones I had like before I even started. These ones that don't even have names. Um, but yeah, it's obviously the same, going to be the same design as this. And this is Max, the dog I've had for 5 years in this world. If anyone gets that reference, or is it just tragedy? But also, you may notice my levels at the moment. I have never been this high in levels before. It's mainly because I always carry a totem around because I hate dying in the game, even though I have backup gear, and it's really hard to die in netherite. But the main source for my XP is not the 2 XP farms I have or the villages, it's actually this. This smelter is godly in a way. All I have to do, since I smelt so much, watch this. I have this broken pickaxe almost, and it heals it and gives me nuts levels. With the levels, I think in the next episode I'll do like a montage, not a yeah, a montage of me enchanting to get rid of the levels, as it's not actually practical to have this much. As much as it is cool to see 127 levels, that's when you know you've succeeded somewhat in this game. Let's actually get back into doing some work instead of just flying around. I'm just trying to think of what to talk about, as it's not the most easy thing sometimes. But yeah, Minecraft projects otherwise, not based in this world. I'm building, not a film set, but like a town for my project, which should be cool, hopefully, for the film project. Some of this world will be in it, but probably a copy after I've done the stuff in survival. Just for the ease of filming, this will always be survival. Obviously, it's a thing I strive to do. A big thing I want to focus on is improvements, though, especially with commentary, audio, thumbnails, and all that. I think I have gone slightly better, especially in audio, but content variety and actually originality should be big things I want to focus on. Also, like answering people right with like the Twitter questions and whatnot. I don't want to be harsh with any, but I don't want to, sugarcoat it like sometimes. Probably the hardest one to deal with was, if you're watching this, cancerous attitude, was your question. As I didn't want to be rude, but I despise cheating, and it was a hard question. I didn't want to offend you by saying like, no, you shouldn't have that world. If anyone's watched the Q&A, I think it was fine though, because it's all in his right to have that world, regardless if he's cheated or not. Unless you directly lie about it. But he never said the extent he cheated. It could have been like duplicating or whatever. The one thing Toycat has always said was like, even if you just go into creative for like a second in your world, it's ruined basically. I don't think it's an exact quote from Toycat, as much as I do quote Toycat on Toycat quotes. Um, but the point hopefully still stands. Um, I'll probably talk about one more topic and then wrap this up. As much as this has been fun, I want to plan out a bit more. I know some people, such as Andrew Andrews or Toycat, can just go on without, seeming to stop, but that's a hard skill or just something that naturally comes to him. The final topic, I guess, would be future collaboration ideas that I'm going to put out there. What I'd love to do with people. That sounds wrong, but the world tours is the most obvious. If anyone wants one of those, I am still willing to do those. Oh, I should not drop my sword. But in other ideas, I've loved doing the mini games, especially with Yai Thunder. The videos that I've recorded with him have been interesting. But collaboration ideas would probably be along the lines of doing such things as a series. I'm not sure, as with Minecraft, I don't want to do completely just Minecraft on the channel either, as much as that'll be the main focus, probably. But I'm thinking for collaborations, interesting like twists on the games, maybe like hardcore or PvP or wars. Probably the main collaboration will actually be the video project I keep talking about. But here's some of my resources for the wall. As it's a very simple wall in the meantime, but I hope to make it better one day than just a border wall. Um, I guess I didn't really talk on collaborations, but I could talk about a few YouTube ideas I have. I guess then I should really wrap this up. I want to, well, I am planning a few, such as these will be in like the next few weeks. I want to talk about other games that I like besides Minecraft and why. There's going to be a big one on YouTubers that you guys like and YouTubers I like. There was a question originally planned for what people like in Minecraft or regarding it, but I wanted to save that for a different video. Um, yeah, there's not much else, and I don't want to keep going on for the sake of going on. So thanks for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this, which is impressive, as this has been a feat to talk for this long, especially to myself, as I don't talk this much probably in a day, let alone to other people. So I will leave you with that knowledge and thank you for watching. The end, as I always say, goodbye.